2 years ago, we bought our dream slice of property in North Idaho. It was 20 acres of raw, untouched forest that was going to need a lot of work. After getting our barndominium built and our off-grid power system installed, it was time to tackle our road. But after a few months of battling the road, it became clear we were going to need some bigger equipment. First up was our massive D8 bulldozer, which came with a steep learning curve.
Another day, another broken dozer.
But after seeing the sheer amount of work it could get done, we decided it was time to upsize our excavator as well. So we sold our mini X a few weeks ago and got to shopping. And we found what we thought was going to be the perfect piece of equipment. But maybe I spoke too soon.
Oh no, it just died. Oh no. I just saw him. He's coming down the road. I am so excited for this. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so excited about this thing, but I'm getting drenched out here in the rain. So let's go inside and let's start heading up the hill. Definitely a way bigger cab than the Kubota. There's even room back here for a car seat. What do you think? No cup holder though. I just noticed it's a John Deere key. So in this era, Deere and Hitachi are essentially the same machine. All right, here we go, heading up the hill. $1994 Hitachi 120, which is 12 metric tons or about 27,000 pounds, which makes this machine weigh approximately twice what our Kubota weighed. It's got who knows how many hours on it. The hour meter reads 3,000 and something, but it doesn't have a fifth digit, so I'm gonna guess 13,000 hours on this bad boy. It's got an Isuzu 4-cylinder diesel that I think makes something like 80 horsepower. This machine's ready to get some serious work done. Since I've got the machine down here, and I'm probably not going to be down here anytime soon, I'm going to go ahead and fix a few of the little drainage spots. As you can see, we've got a ditch on the side of the road, but rather than running down the ditch, the water's running down the ruts in the road. So I'm going to build some water bars and try to divert this water from the road back into the ditch where it should be. It's going to be interesting because this isn't anywhere near as delicate as the Kubota was. Hopefully I don't tear things up. All right, one water bar down. We've got the water running down into the ditch where it should be. I'm just gonna add a few more as I head on up the hill, and I think that's gonna make this section of the road a lot better. Over the 2 years that we've lived here, we've been watching this section of the road sort of get worse and worse, mostly due to runoff, and this is gonna make a big difference. I'm gonna keep heading up the hill. This machine is almost out of fuel, so I think I better stop messing around and get it home. I almost wonder if I should even try to make it home, or if I should just park it here, go get some fuel, and then come back for it. I decided that it would be better for me to walk up the hill, grab some fuel, and then come back down, rather than run it out of fuel and then have to figure out how to bleed all the air out of the system and get the fuel pump reprimed. Not only are all of the gas cans empty, the transfer tank is just about empty too. I think I'm only going to be able to get 2 or 3 gallons out of this thing. The previous owner warned me that on his way out the door, he forgot to grab the key to the lock that he had put on the fuel filler. That's why I grabbed the grinder. Oh, that's what happens when I try and film with one hand and fuel with the other. I end up dumping fuel all over the machine. Well, it's only 2 gallons, but it's all I had, and it's going to be enough to get it home. I think I've got some prep to do, including getting more fuel before I get started on this road project in the spring. One thing that I've noticed right away in this machine is it doesn't turn nearly as well as the mini excavator did. And I suspect that's just the really long steel tracks. Instead of picking up the rock, I crushed the rock. Oh man. Cordy just yelled at me from the deck. Why are you walking up? Because I ran it out of fuel. We only had 2 gallons here, which was fine until I started going downhill. I'm gonna have to go to town, get some fuel. I'll be back. We'd like to thank Factor for sponsoring today's video. With summer here, we find ourselves wanting to spend more time outside and less time in the kitchen. Factor's here to help us save time and energy with meals delivered straight to our door. With 34 chef-prepared and dietitian-approved weekly options, there's always something new to try. It's like meal prepping without actually having to do the prepping. We love to cook, but after Oliver was born, things got a bit crazy. Thank goodness our fridge was stocked with Factor meals to help us get through those first few months. Otherwise, I think we would have been living off cereal. I'm loving their Protein Plus meals. With 30 grams of protein or more per serving, they keep me fueled even during the biggest projects. Keeping the dozer fueled, on the other hand, is another story. So if you've got a jam-packed summer, head to factor75.com or click on the link in the description below and use the code AMBITION50 for 50% off your first Factor box. That's factor75.com and the code AMBITION50 for 50% off. And thanks again to Factor for fueling my crazy ideas. All right, Bailey, what do you think? Time to go home and see if we can get an excavator started? Yeah, I think so too. My little water bars are working. Big improvement to the drainage. We've had quite a few questions in the comments about this truck. This is my 1996 Ford F350 crew cab long bed 4-wheel drive 7.3 liter diesel truck that I picked up as a work truck for around the property. I have been doing a whole bunch of maintenance to this thing, from oil changes to fuel system updates to new hoses and belts, and this week I also got new tires. I decided to go with the new Toyo Open Country RT Trail. This is a brand new tire from Toyo that has a thicker sidewall for increased puncture resistance and an aggressive tread that's somewhere in between an all-terrain and a mud terrain. I think it's going to be the perfect tire for our property here, where we have everything from water to mud to rocks, and then we also do a lot of highway driving because it's a work truck and it's going to be going back and forth to town. I shut the excavator down as soon as I heard it start sputtering, and I suspected it was out of fuel. So let's see if it's going to start. I think we're in luck. Okay. Oh no, it just died. Oh no. Alright guys, I'm going to put the camera down. I think I need to get this thing down to level ground so it'll pick up some fuel. I really don't want this thing to die and have to like figure out how to bleed the entire system of air. So, stand by. We are literally driving down the hill on the starter. I think as soon as we hit level ground, it's going to crank, but like, oh man. Oh, and it's dying. Oh, what a bummer. I have been up since 5 a.m. and it's now almost 6 p.m. I'm exhausted and I think that I'm being a little hasty, so I'm going to go get some sleep and we'll be back on this tomorrow. Charge the batteries, put more fuel in it, get it back into the house. What do you think, Bailey? Time to go home? Well, good morning guys. I'm headed down the hill now to get the batteries in the excavator on the charger. Pretty funny how just such a simple task of tracking an excavator home can turn into an all-day fiasco. All right, hello again, excavator. This cable seemed a little loose. Look at that battery terminal. That's a piece of melted lead. There's a chance the batteries aren't even dead, that it just melted that terminal until it stopped making contact, which is pretty terrifying. Luckily there was a fire extinguisher right up there. I think I definitely cranked it for a little bit too long, but you know, it's one of those situations where you just get frustrated and it sounds like it's about to start, so you just keep going. So I've got the portable power cube set up with the 2 battery chargers in here. Portable power cubes are pretty handy for stuff like this because now I didn't have to pull the batteries out and haul them back up to the shop. I could just bring the charger down to the equipment. I'm gonna let these charge up for a few hours. We'll see you later.
With baby Oliver here, things look a little different these days, and I didn't get to go on that adventure with Riley yesterday, but maybe I'm okay with that because it looked pretty wet and cold. The good news is it's a beautiful day, and it sounds like Riley's gonna need my help to get this excavator up and running again, so we've got Oliver in tow, and we're gonna go see if we can't help him out. I haven't even seen the excavator yet, so I'm pretty excited about this. Oh my goodness. Ollie, look at this.
Welcome to your new excavator.
It's huge.
It is a lot bigger than the old one, that's for sure.
Even just getting in and out of it.
It's way bigger.
I'm sorry that you had such a rough day yesterday.
Thank you. I think I kind of made it worse on my own.
Step 1, hook the batteries back up, and step 2 is to bleed the fuel system.
You're using a hammer to hook the battery back up?
Yeah, this terminal's pretty messed up.
What on earth is that?
I think this is how you hook the stereo up. Shove this in there and then the stereo turns on inside.
But it has a stereo.
It has a stereo, which is an upgrade over the last one.
Filming looks a little bit different these days, but luckily Ollie's still at the age where he just goes wherever I take him. And he mostly sleeps.
Okay, time to open the hood, which involves climbing a ladder.
Open the hood.
So first things first, we're going to want to fill both fuel filters up with fuel. This thing down here kind of looks like a hand pump primer. A water separator filter and a primary fuel filter, and then down here I think is the injection pump, and this thing right here I think is a primer, and if it's a primer that's going to make things a lot easier. So let's find out. It sure feels like pretty sure that's a primer. This is the line going out of the fuel filter. Ugh. Oh, that's tight. Okay. Oh, fuel's coming out. That's probably a good sign. The primer a few pumps. Oh yeah. Okay. So the filter's primed already. Awesome. Okay, here we go to attempt to start this thing up again. It's acting like the batteries are dead. But I charged the batteries.
All right, I think we might need to start a poll. How many things do you think Riley is going to run out of fuel this year? Because this is already number 2.
This is thing purple at one point? There's purple paint.
What?
This excavator is a 24 volt system, so two 12 volt batteries in series. Courtney, can you crank it for me while I check the batteries? Go ahead and crank it. The voltage drops to 6 on like each battery every time I crank it, so I think these batteries are toast.
I don't know. I'm starting to think that maybe this spot is cursed. Do you guys recognize this spot? This is where our concrete truck got stuck. This is where the army truck got stuck, and we have had nothing but problems down here, so maybe we should just stop driving down here. Oliver wanted to say hi. Say hi. What do you think? Are we gonna get it running today?
Two fresh batteries pulled out of the truck. Negative, positive. This one goes over here. If you're liking this video and want to see more heavy equipment videos like this one, please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the notifications bell, because your views are what make videos like this possible. So there's a different problem somewhere. Either the starter's bad, or we have a bad wire connection, or we melted a wire, or all of the above. So it's time to start examining the entire starting circuit and find the problem. Aha, that's how you change the oil. There's the starter and what is going on with it. I suspect that whatever's going on with it has to do with this melted solder that was on the bottom of this access panel. Where did you come from? I should probably disconnect the batteries. Here comes the starter. But where did the solder come from? Well, I can tell that the connection on the solenoid got pretty dang hot. But the good news is that the machine came with a brand new starter. I think this was a common occurrence on this machine based on the fact that he included 2 spare starters with it. Just noticed that this wire that goes from the solenoid to the starter motor is super loose. So do I fix that and put this back in and keep my new starter as a spare? Or do I put my new starter in and keep this one as a spare? If I put the new starter in, I know that I won't have any problems. If I fix this one and put it back in, it could still be broken. Okay, so the new starter has this big ball of solder right here that goes onto the positive connection of the solenoid. And that's sort of what makes the main battery connection back into the starter motor. The old starter I just pulled out, that big ball of solder is completely melted off. So that's where the solder came from that I found on the pan. This is that nut that was loose. So this wire going to the starter motor was loose, meaning that this connection right here got super hot and melted that solder out. Yes, I probably ran the starter motor longer than I should have, but that loose connection ultimately is what caused the problem, because it made that thing get super hot as I ran that starter motor. We still have the fuel problem to deal with, but hopefully it'll crank. Woo! Woo-hoo! We are back in business. Do you hear that?
You fixed it!
Woo! All right, I'm gonna park it. Maybe, or maybe I'll do more work.
I love you. Good job.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, guys. Beautiful sunny day, a running excavator. What do you think? Time to go to work? That was definitely more eventful than I anticipated, but we made it home. Look how small it makes the army truck look back there. Can't wait to start putting this machine to use this summer.